Hello, Mikael. My name's Ricky. I'm from Wall of Sound, all the way in Melbourne, Victoria. How are you going, mate?
I'm good. I'm good. Nice to meet you. And yeah, it's awesome. Good times here in Gothenburg, Sweden.
Yeah, awesome. And I heard you had a bit of a big night last night, mate.
Yeah, yeah. We're kind of celebrating the release of the new Grand Cadaver album, which I'm part of. So, and it comes out in 2 days. And I'm already leaving like tomorrow for South America. So I cannot be part of the actual celebration when the album comes out on Friday. So I had to do a little pre party yesterday.
Wow, that's a lot of new music coming out of your world at the moment. And I hope that your
Yeah.
weapon of choice last night while you were drinking was a lager, because you're going to be
It
coming down to Australia with Lagerstein.
Yes, that is very, very cool. So yeah, it was lagers actually. Very fantastic locally brewed lagers.
Fantastic. I'm a big lager fan myself. Are you
No,
going to be preparing so that you can drink as much as Lagerstein can?
I uh, I accept the challenge. Definitely, I think among me and Peter and Daniel, I think we can drink with the absolute best. So yeah, bring it on. I we are prepared. We've been touring a lot this year already, and we've had yeah, we've been in Germany a lot this summer, so we've had some of the finest lagers in the world, I would say. So yeah, we're ready.
Sounds awful, mate.
Horrible.
Hard stuff. Now,
Yeah.
I would love to talk to you about a few things. One is that this is the first ever Australian tour for the Halo Effect, but it is
Yes.
equally the first ever tour presented by the publication that I'm with, which is Wall of Sound. So it's a first for
Very
both
cool.
of us.
Yeah. Awesome. That's
So,
fantastic. Yeah.
so how does it feel to be coming to Australia for the first time under the guise of the Halo Effect?
It's amazing. Like this band got off to a very very good start, I would say. Like we a bit over a year ago we released the first album, and already we've done some of the coolest and biggest festival in Europe. We've done huge tours with Machine Head and Amon Amarth and Meshuggah, and so yeah, things are happening, and we've been to Japan already, and now Australia and New Zealand as well. So it's amazing. Like in such a short time, we've managed to do a lot of cool things, and we're super excited. And for me, like it's been 8 years since I was in Australia last, and for the other guys, I think something like that too. So we're dying to get back, and a lot of friends I'm dying to see, and um, yeah, and a lot of beers that we need to be drinking.
Few lagers, of course. Now,
Yes.
I saw the Halo Effect on a Machine Head tour poster before the Halo Effect were even a thing. It was
Yeah.
amazing,
Yeah.
and you just soared into the world overnight. And actually, being in Australia, we report on music, one of the first in the world because of the time difference.
Of
And
course.
we were
Yeah.
the first in the world to break the very first Halo Effect song. And I
Oh,
cannot,
that's awesome.
the popularity is like next to nothing that I've ever written about.
Wow. That is cool. Yeah. I mean, it was, we kind of knew that we were onto something uh, good, but it was weird since we recorded the album during the pandemic and we kind of started the whole thing a bit earlier, but it really happened during the pandemic and we had seemingly unlimited time. So writing the album and recording it and preparing everything and making sure that we had everything up and running as we released the album was kind of unprecedented for me and for us to, in order to, normally it's a rush, right? You have a deadline, record the album, get it done, get all the other stuff done, and then boom, out as soon as possible. Whereas this was kind of like, yeah, we have a year to the release of the album, so you could really kind of make an effort to make it special once we actually did it. When we announced the band, first video was already done, all that stuff. So it was really exciting to do something like that, because everything else has just been coming, like in waves. Like you have a new album, a new tour, and then that kind of stuff with Dark Tranquility when In Flames, of course. So this was different and so exciting, and it was weird. We played like the main stage at Sweden Rock, which is the biggest festival in Sweden, months before the album came out. Like we had two singles out, and we still played the entire album in front of people who had no idea, and it was 25,000 people or something like that. It's insane. And then we played the main stage at Wacken right after Slipknot, the day of the release of the album. So it was yeah, it was crazy. Like who does that? Who starts playing like the entire album before it's out? It's kind of like what legacy bands does, you know, they go back and play, oh yeah, the original album, you like the first one, but that's all we have. So that's what we do.
Well, you're in a very unique position where all of the members of this band have a legacy with
Yeah.
Scandinavian or Swedish melodic death metal, and so the ability to soar up at the pace that you did is not an accident. It's because of the
No.
talents that you've earned over your years and over your musical career, which is a hat off to you, basically.
Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, everybody's been around, and I mean, and that's part of the reason why we started in the first place, just because we've been friends since we were kids. Basically, when we were 14, 15, we started hanging out and listening to music and discovering music together, went going to shows together. And so, you know, even though we started different bands back then, you know, it kind of made sense to actually do this together. Finally, you know, we've been talking about this for forever. It's always, after a few drinks, you go like, hey man, like it would be cool to kind of start something together, you know. And this was the case. Like Nicholas asked me like 3 years ago, like, hey, should we, you know, how about we do something? And we had no idea what it was going to be, but something, you know. And then he started sending me some stuff, and I started recording some vocals for it, and he was like, yeah, this is actually good. Let's talk to some other guys, and let's talk to Peter and Daniel and Jesper. And it's like, oh yeah, okay, okay, this is going to be fun, you know. And that's how it happened. So it's, yeah, so we've been in the service of Sweden, Gothenburg death metal for 30 plus years already. So of course, like going into this, you take all that experience with you and use that, but at the same time you want to create something new. But we didn't set out to kind of reinvent the genre or anything like that. It's just like make it more instinctual and kind of, you know, flex that muscle memory of how to write songs.
Well, I don't think it's reinvent. I think it's reinvigorate because
Yeah, well, better word, yes.
if you just search the internet and you read about In Flames fans' comments over the years, obviously many have loved the maturity of the band over decades
Yeah,
and things like that. But obviously, a lot of people miss the mid 90s In Flames,
yeah,
Gothenburg, melodeath.
yeah,
And this is basically what you've been able to bring back to life. So you've
yeah.
told me a bit about the story around, getting those calls and going, should we do this and that kind of thing. I guess my question to you is why then? Was it because of COVID and there was the time? What was it about doing it when you did?
Well, it started a little bit before kind of COVID, so like late 19, I think it was, and that was the idea. And then we recorded like a demo, like in 19, and that felt fun, and we were like, yeah, cool, but let's see, you know, let's see if we have time, you know. And we were starting recording like the latest Dark Tranquility album, Moment. So I was in the studio all the time, and then during that recording, COVID hit, and then we were like, okay, now we have all this time. And once the album was finished, it's like, what the hell am I going to do now? And then we decided to kind of do another couple of, like, we did another demo, like 3-song demo, and we're like, okay, this is going to be cool, you know. Let's see what we can make of this now that we, like, you know, when the calendar's empty, you know, like there's nothing on the horizon. Let's just do this. So it was kind of like a perfect circumstance where, yeah, we had nothing else to do, and it felt, and we already had it going, you know, like we've already had a few songs ready. So and we felt we're on a good path, you know. And the 3 first songs became like the 3 first singles, basically. So it was like the initial kind of instinct of what to do kind of felt right, you know. So the second song we wrote was Shadow Minds, which was the first single, and so it just came about very easily, and in a great way. So it was, yeah. We've been fortunate, like in the way that things have worked out for us early on.
I think it's so great that you've been able to do it in the way that you've had melodic death metal part of your DNA for so many years. I visited
Yeah,
Gothenburg before myself, and you can feel the metal energy in the air. It doesn't take much to walk into a bar and find the relevant music around you. And
No.
it sounds like you and the guys are really thriving in the halo effect.
Yeah. I mean, this is something that, this is something that we love to do, and like getting to do it together without kind of course there's, I wouldn't say baggage, but we realized that, yeah, let's make something new and make it as joyful as it can be. Let's put all the pressure aside and don't really worry about that. Just if it's fun, if we feel it, if if we have fun kind of like creating it and touring for it and all that stuff, then yeah, then let's do it. If it's not, then that it's not worth it.
Gotta bring you joy.
Yeah, and that's I think my favorite part of this is just getting to hang out with Peter and Daniel and Nicholas and Jesper and Jensen, like, because old friends that we don't get to see each other that much. I'm always on tour and before everybody was always on tour, and we met at airports and festivals basically, and it became ridiculous. We were just laughing like, holy shit, like we got to stop meeting like this. It's insane. And now we can actually do proper tour together and hang out more. So it's one of the absolute highlights for me.
It's fantastic. Our chief editor-in-chief, Brownie, was traveling all the way from Australia to Europe and managed to see the Halo Effect on the Europe Festival circuit.
All right.
And he said, we've got to get this down to Australia. We've got to make this happen. And here we are.
Here we are.
Now, we're going to hear not only Days of the Lost, but we're also going to get to hear Path of Fierce Resistance. And I'd like to know a little bit about that. Was this a song that was recorded in the Days of the Lost sessions, or is this a new song that was coming to the forefront? Tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, no, it was actually recorded during the same session, because with unlimited time, we had almost unlimited resources. Like, we stayed in the studio for, what was it, 8 months or something like that, just like recording on and off and fixing things and just like taking our time with it. So we recorded way more songs that we needed. So that was one of them, and it was actually it was the bonus track for the Japanese version of the album. And then we asked him, it's like, hey, can we just release it? We were doing an American tour, like a short tour, so we released that song ahead of that. But we also like recorded, or we started writing or recorded a few more songs that we're now using for the next album already. So we're gonna play some new songs that are coming on the next album already on this tour, because we're excited, and also it feels weird to go on tour with only one album. So we needed more material here, and we weren't really keen on doing covers or anything like that. So we decided to kind of play some upcoming songs, and we've done a few shows where we played these new songs, and it started to feel really good, and it really kind of helped and inspired the writing of the next album.
I love that. When do you think we might be able to hear the studio versions of some of those songs?
It's not really decided, but it's coming out next year. And it's almost finished, the whole thing, and it sounds fantastic, and I'm super excited. So I want it to come out like tomorrow, but that's not going to happen. but it's amazing, and it feels cool and great to be kind of be ahead of things. It was the same with Days of the Lost. It was recorded like more than a year before the release, and so you could kind of take your time with doing all this kind of stuff beforehand. Promoting.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you're a busy man. As you said, you've got a Cadaver record coming out in a couple of days, Halo Effect in full swing, and let's not forget about Dark Tranquility as well. What's going on there?
Yeah, we're in the studio right now writing. We're going to start recording in a matter of weeks. All the songs are getting close to being finished, and then we're going to start recording in mid-September, I think. I'm just going to take a little tour over to South America and the US first, and then we come home, and then we get right back in the studio again. So like, it's going to be a welcome break to go to Australia after a few weeks or like a month in the studio. So just like kind of take some time off, listen to the stuff, and kind of hopefully come back with some new energy, and we're going to record until the end of the year, I think. Then and have the album come out in August next year.
Fantastic. Well, I hope that you feel rested when you do come to Australia because it is in November and we're hopefully going to have some sun for you.
Nice. It's extending the summertime. Like it's pretty sweet here in Sweden right now, but it's gonna get dark and wet and miserable pretty damn soon. Like so, yeah, that's gonna be a welcome change too.
We'll look after you. Um,
Thank you.
so, Mikael, I'm keen to understand or keen to hear from you whether you've been keeping up with some modern metal coming out of Sweden lately, like metalcore bands like Aviana, Imminence. Have you been checking out some of those bands?
I have. I try to keep up and I try to check out every new album that comes out, like at least have a vague idea or an understanding what it is, and especially Swedish bands, of course, but basically anything. But so it's really, really cool to see how diverse the scene is here. For a while, a lot of extreme metal bands just wanted to be the next Dark Tranquillity or next In Flames or something like that, and kind of tried to copy it. But now the originality really comes out, and people are really trying hard to be different and not just do what is expected of a Swedish death metal band. So it's great to see. And Imminence, yeah, I saw them at Wacken the other week, and Orbit Culture just released a new album, and that sounds pretty damn cool. And so there's a lot of things happening, and I'm really excited. Even some really younger bands, like teenage bands that I get to see here in town on weekends. It's amazing, like a great kind of regrowth of bands. It's not just the old dudes like us around. So it's happening, and I love that. I'm really proud of kind of the legacy that Swedish music has, of course, but and then seeing that it's still going super strong is fantastic. Like I feel like a proud dad sometimes.
The originality is very true. It is
Yeah,
absolutely, it's not just recycled metal. It is really
yeah,
original stuff that hasn't been done before.
yeah,
Violins in metal and all that kind of stuff. It's fantastic.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Um,
there's a yeah in every genre too. It's not just extreme metal, but like all kinds of like doom and prog and like anything really.
so good, so good.
Yeah,
Look, I'm running out of time with you, Mikhail, but one more question from me.
sure.
What can Aussie fans expect from the upcoming first ever Halo Effect Australian tour?
First ever. Now, I mean, I think for us, performing is like that's the joy and the kind of like the reward you get from all the hard work that we've done in the studio, even though it was mostly fun. I cannot wait. We're having a blast performing these songs, hanging out together and traveling. And so it's going to be an intense, great show. It's going to be, yeah, some new material. Actually, we're going to try out, see if it works. And yeah, everything you hope and expect from a Gothenburg death metal show is going to be there. It's going to be great.